What's going on, everybody? Told you that was an intro.
Wow.
Wow. That was an intro.
Impressed every week or every time we do this now.
For a second, I thought I was on the wrong show. I was like, did I click a link somewhere that sent me to this?
The first time you guys sat too, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I thought I was in the year 2030 or something. So, God, you guys have come a long way.
That was awesome. I was hyped.
You just got to kill the time to let the feed start going, let people start getting in. So it's all good.
It was nice.
Listen, I'm
Well,
even though it's cool, I'm getting texts from friends. Apparently, I have a lot of Bears fans as friends. They're like, "How are you all doing a show tonight when the Bears are playing?"
And I guess they think
because 90% of the country doesn't care.
Well, right? But I mean, think about this. This is the first time in really since most of our adulthood that the Bears have been relevant this far in the season. So,
well, no, they went to the Super Bowl in what was that, 2005?
Yeah, Rex Grossman,
6 or 7.
Yeah. Rex Grossman, let's give him credit. The man was a legend at Florida, also a Bears legend. Maybe Hall of Fame career.
I'm sticking to that quarterback. If they would have stuck with Kyle Orton, they would have won that Super Bowl. They would have won that Super Bowl.
Now Rex was who was throwing you those touchdown passes, right, Blake?
Yes, yeah, that was that was pre my injury that I had. He was tough.
As an Atlanta Falcons fan, can we move on from NFL? Great, thanks.
Yeah, let's talk about the Braves.
Yeah, move on from them too.
Doesn't get much better, does it?
Pretty funny. That was good.
All right. So what we'll do is we'll kick it off here in a second and just do what we usually do. But let's not take 42 minutes to do intros because I think we got a pretty good show ahead of us. Cool?
Cool.
All right. There we go. Welcome, everybody. It is the 50th episode of the Bourbon Community Roundtable. We did it. We're finally here 4.5 years later. We're down to 50 of these. That's amazing. Very, very excited to actually have every single person that was a core member of this crew to actually be here tonight. And apologies in advance to my wife who'll have to be editing this because Lord knows there'll be a lot of talking over and trying to figure out who's speaking at one point. So we'll do our best to kind of just move this thing along as well. So Fred, Ryan, good to see you all here as well. I'm super excited for tonight's episode.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, man. This is an awesome one. I mean, we're amongst friends, and I miss everybody here. It's so good to see you. What a great occasion. Of course, I was late to this incredible party, but Ryan, you're an OG, man. You're the people's champ, and this is the 50th roundtable. How does that make you feel?
I'm not sure. I was trying to think back on all the 50 and the first 10, and I'm like, I don't even remember. It's like a blur. It's Kenny's great idea to put this all together, and we didn't know how well it ended up being one of our most popular shows ever, always. So kudos to Kenny for coming up with this idea and getting this plethora of talent around us because Kenny and I were idiots and we needed all these real bloggers to make this legitimate.
See, there's somebody clearing their throat down here, and I know exactly what he's getting ready to say too.
I'm just saying maybe the idea didn't completely start with Kenny.
Uh-oh.
So
the truth comes out.
So I will say, the whole Twitter message thread that we all had together was definitely Carrie's brainchild right there, and that's kind of how we all started talking and stuff like that. But I think the podcast, I don't know. I might take 60-40 on that one. I can't remember.
You can take 7. You can take 90. I just want in.
He always told me it was his idea, Kenny or Carrie. He always
I'm
told me.
pretty sure when you interviewed us, you guys, you talked about getting something going like that. It was when the idea wasn't even really an idea. Yeah, it was at the end of it. Just I want to get guys on and just talk bourbon, not on a regular basis, and it kind of left there. So I'm going to say there's a split there too, and then I think Carrie kind of tied everybody together. So kind of 50-50.
So now, Brian, as our trademark lawyer, are we by Kenny admitting that Carrie played a role in that? Are we in any way? Are we in trouble down the road?
Royalties? Well, it all depends when that cash starts flowing in.
I know a lawyer.
Depends on how good your attorney is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see anybody with a sponsor logo at the bottom of this right now, so I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. We're good on that front.
So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look back at 4 years and 50 episodes. And before we go too far and do our traditional introductions, I want to also say shout out to other past BCR guests that have been on the show. We used to have Max Christie from Superfly Bourbon Club, Ryan Lentz from Bourbon Buddy, Wade Woodard of Tater Talk, Marion Eves of course, Marion Eves, David Jennings of Rarebird, and of course, Carla Carlton. So thank you to everybody that has been a past stand-in on this roundtable to give their opinions on hot topics and culture and everything like that. The first BCR episode actually went live September 16th of 2016, and it was episode 65 of the podcast. So it actually took quite a long time before we even started kicking off these roundtables. And, over the years, we've picked some barrels together. Some of us have started new businesses. We've shared the stage together at a music festival. We've had 2 people here that have tried to do apps and abandoned them. So there's a lot of things that we've all tried to do. I mean, it's been fun to see the successes and, even the not so successes, but it's learning from those
failures. I understand the app was a failure. Okay, I get it. I can say that.
Well, let's go ahead and let the person who introduced himself, who has never missed a roundtable, Cal Ripken of it. Blake, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, been here for all 50 of them. And as Chris Wiseman put in the comments, Ryan was not at the first one, it was kind of hard to believe. I actually went back and listened to some of the early roundtables tonight, and I could have sworn he was there. But number 2, we talked about him not being there. But no, it's honestly one of the most fun things I do and able to be a part of in the bourbon world. Always enjoy coming on here. That's why I try not to miss them. Rain or shine, try to be here. Cal Ripken's got to keep the streak alive. But I guess I should say also, this is Blake from Bourboner and Sealbox. But if you're watching the 50th episode, you probably know that by now. So once again, guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and that one time you were at Disney and you had to run outside and be on the cell phones.
I put 4 kids to bed after Disney and still jumped on from the parking lot. And I was getting like angry text messages from Kenny, like, your sound's terrible. Why are you on here? Go back.
Please drop off.
I get it, but I just want to say I did make it for that episode. So
I think I was just tired for the first one, so I just skipped it. It was like,
and I remember Blake. Blake, early on, before I was a part of the show, you reached out to me and you were like, "Hey, you should come on to this round table and talk about bourbon culture and everything." And I was kind of intrigued by it. It didn't really match with my schedule at the time. But I remember thinking to myself, I was like, "This is the Around the Horn for bourbon," because I watched Around the Horn on ESPN. And it was a lot like that. So, I mean, I just think this was ingenious for, 2016, the media world of bourbon was kind of in the middle stages, and it's exciting to see how far it's come.
For sure. Yeah. So I'll take credit for bringing Fred on the show. So y'all are welcome.
Everybody's taking credit for something. I got that.
Oh, gosh. All right. We'll let the guys from Breaking Bourbon go next.
Yeah, sure. So this is Jordan, breakingbourbon.com. When you're in the liquor store figuring out what to buy, check us out. We're always there for you. Along with me is I'll let Nick introduce himself.
Yeah, so hey guys, this is Nick, one of the other guys from Breaking Bourbon. Glad to be here. Our third guy, there's 3 of us. Eric, I think he's been on 1 round table so far. I'm trying to remember when that was, but I'm pretty sure he was on. That was when Carrie was on. But he's a big part of. He's a huge part of Breaking Bourbon too. I know he's not on these roundtables like Jordan and I are, so I want to give a shout out to him because he spends an insane amount of time doing site work. Behind the scenes, of course, reviewing and all that good stuff. But I'm glad to be here. Happy to see everybody. There's a lot of chatter over in the chat, so that's awesome. I mean, I want to see some good questions and just a lot of chatter. So glad to be here, guys.
Great. All right, Jordan, did you say anything? I can't. Or you were silent the entire time? I couldn't hear.
No, he introduced himself.
In the liquor store. BreakingBourbon.com. Yeah.
200 I'm still learning. All right, Brian, go for it, buddy.
All right. Thanks, guys, for having me again. This is incredible. I think I've made most of them. Obviously, nowhere near Cal Ripken over there, but it's been fun. This has been a great run. I'm in it for another 150 more. I'll be ready for the bicentennial. Anyhow, Brian with Sippin' Corn. You can find me at bourbonjustice.com, sippincorn.com, and all the socials at Sippin' Corn. And I've loved how we've been able to touch in important kind of breaking news, kind of almost hard-hitting news on some of the things, and then still balance it with the fun side of culture and the fun things happening in the bourbon world and not taking ourselves too seriously. So great brainchild from all of you who have created this, and I'm just glad to be along.
We're happy you're here for us, or with us too, buddy.
Careful,
right.
Brian. That breaking news in the bourbon world, we've got that trademark. So
we can edit. Lauren, that's one of the things Lauren can edit out.
Yeah. We'll talk to our attorney about
it. And down here to the bottom right, the man who's actually knows how to use the mute button, which has been impressive. I mean, it must be
I feel like I'm off my game. I'm nervous, so I'm breathing heavy, so I gotta mute myself. It's just you get out of sync.
It's perfect. We love it. We love people that know how to make sure there's no background noise.
Cool. Well, hey guys, this is Carrie. I have a blog called suburbia.com, SUBOURBIA, but honestly, I don't know if I paid to renew it. So it may still be up, it may not. I'm on Instagram, but I'll be honest, I've gotten completely tired of hashtags. Why do you got to put like 100 hashtags on every post? It's driving me crazy. So I know my buddy told me the other day that Trump and I are the only two people he knows that are on Twitter, but that's still my home is Twitter. So you can mainly find me there. I still think it's the best place for quick photos, discussion, etc. But I'm going to have Kenny teach me TikTok pretty soon so that maybe I can move over there.
He's everybody made fun of it, and then look what happened this past week. Things just blew up. It blew up. I mean, honestly, it's been crazy to have a video go viral. It's been almost like 30 plus million views on that one video now that's been reposted through a bunch of accounts. I think we gained like 15,000 Instagram followers in the past 3 days. Like it's been a pretty good little run there.
I really can't escape it. Like every time I go to Instagram, it's some account that I follow is reposting it. It's like, well, what do you think about $800 ice? And I just comment every time, these guys are jerks. I don't care about their ice.
No, it's like I said, it's been fun. It's been fun. And, it wouldn't have been possible without one of our partnerships with Meltdown. So if it was just me sitting there talking, it wouldn't have done anything. So really cool to be able to see that happen. So we've got kind of
got to be happy about that, right?
I'd say so. I think they've should be very happy with kind of how crazy it's gone. They struck internet gold for the day. So
and Heaven Hill gets the free 30 million views. Way to go, Kenny.
I know. I'm kicking myself. I was like, why didn't I just use Pursuit Series? I should have just used Pursuit Series. It would have been fine.
Had you known.
Oh, that's what you were talking about in the text the other day. I thought you were talking about you had a different TikTok. I was like, Jesus, he has 2 TikTok accounts?
So for tonight's roundtable, we've got one actual bourbon business topic to kind of go over before we start going over some reminiscing, some games of like who said what and kind of do we still feel the same about some of the things we used to say as well. And that is coming from something that kind of came to light last night, in that there are no more sales of Pappy Van Winkle that are taking place in some of the Facebook groups, marketplaces, whatever it is. And this is because they complained about the growing cases of fraud that they've seen in Van Winkles being sold, and really taking up a lot of their time to actually do tracing and verification. And it was just a blanket sweep that said, we're not going to do this anymore. And we've seen a lot of groups actually follow suit as well. I think this is a very interesting take to kind of have, especially as we come into release season, which will probably be in the next 2 to 3 weeks, as we'll probably start seeing these drop. And I don't think it's going to change people's perception of going out and buying them or doing anything. However, it'll be a little bit different to actually not see any boards flooded with stuff for a while. I'll leave it to the room and see what other people think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting thing, and I was talking with somebody about it that was involved, and basically they're saying, like, look, we know somebody had caps from the distillery, and some fakes have popped up with these caps traced back to the same person, and just got tired of trying to, make sure these bottles are authentic. And it's really interesting because, it seems like it'd be easy for Buffalo Trace to come out and say, hey, we're going to do, some kind of RFD chip or something where it prevents fraud on these caps. But if they do that, then they're stuck admitting that people are reselling them, and they're very against the secondary. So they're kind of in a tough place. Where I think it's interesting is now with like the Kentucky vintage spirit laws, all these bars and everyone are buying up bottles to then pour at their restaurant, bar, wherever it is. So I think something needs to be done kind of from the distillery side to protect a lot of these bottles from being counterfeited. But as far as the sales go, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there'll still be places to buy it. I'm sure people will still be flipping them on Craigslist and everywhere else. But I think it's a step in an okay direction.
I think this move comes at a very interesting time. Wright Thompson, a friend of mine, a really amazing sports writer, is coming out with the book Pappy Land, and there's just
Glad you said that, Fred.
Nice
segue.
I did have it. Let's take a picture earlier. Good book.
Well played. I mean, he's actually he's doing a thing where you pre-order a book and you get into a raffle through Square Books. It's pretty cool deal. I wish I had that for selling my books. I mean, Brian, you know what it's like to sell books. That'd have been really nice. But it's I just think that this is interesting in the narrative of Pappy. I've talked with a lot of people, and I just feel like there's a lot of Pappy fatigue, period. And I think people are just kind of moving on. And this might be it. This might be the moment where, the core bourbon world is just fucking done. I'm done. I mean, I've seen it in the real auctions that Whiskey Auctioneer and Christie's and Skinner's. I mean, Pappy prices are not going up like Nectars prices are. You're starting to see some bottles that are trending at a higher rate in some of these auction sites. And so I just think that this is part of the constant fatigue that we're seeing with Pappy. And it's just, I mean, good for those who are choosing to make this decision, because I know it probably wasn't easy, but at the same time, it's probably the right decision for the groups.
I've had Pappy fatigue since episode 1 of BCR. So I'm kind of glad that this is happening, because I'm like, who cares? I haven't hunted for Pappy in 4.5 years or more, and I think it's crazy. I mean, obviously there's a market for it, so it should probably continue. But I don't see how Buffalo Trace can, like you said, Kenny or Blake, you can't admit to we're gonna stop fraudulent selling on the secondary market. So it's what are they supposed to do? I don't know. So it's one of the instances where they just stuck their foot in the ground and said, we're not going to do anything, and it's going to work itself out, kind of. So kudos to them on that.
I think it's a good move for people in the bourbon groups in terms of not having to deal with it and all the admins and stuff. But we may be fatigued to Pappy, but culturally, it's ingrained now. It hit that moment status where it is ingrained. Mm-hmm. It's right, Cohibas and Cuban cigars or something. People are just after them. They want to say they have Cohibas. Are they real? Are they fake? They don't care, as long as they believe it is what it is and they're enjoying it. That's all that counts, right? So the demand is there, and people who don't even drink bourbon, they at least know what Pappy is, right? So I think for the non-core bourbon drinkers, it's not going to make a difference. It's still going to move really quickly outside of core Facebook groups. I think for us, right, and everyone watching this and listening to this, and those who are hardcore bourbon drinkers, it's just like a sigh of relief to not have to see nonstop Pappy posts around this time, right? Let some other bourbons actually get the focus they deserve. And hopefully people will start expanding. And if they want to spend a ton of money on bourbon, that's great. But there's other great things out there to try instead, right?
Well, so I'm just saying that if you want to sell your Pappy to me, I'm happy. I'll send you my contact info. I actually just poured Pappy 15. It's still really good, so I'm happy to buy it from you. I do think, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, because Pappy's become just like a commodity for, the the bourbon you can't get. It's not the average everyday person who's racking up the Pappy. It's the, the corporate sales party that wants to have Pappy, and the, the expensive, I just keep thinking corporate functions where they buy the Pappy, and that's not going to change. I mean, those people are still going to be buying. I know in Atlanta, the people that, purchase Pappy and they ask you, and there's nothing on Facebook. It's all offline. They're always looking. They're always buying. I don't think that changes. I think maybe the price will change a little bit, but it's funny. We're getting to a point where we always used to complain about the secondary market, and now we're actually praising the heads of secondary markets for making a decision regarding Pappy.
Interesting point. I will say that, when you look at, I help a lot of charities, with getting bourbon to help raise money for their causes. I got one that's coming up that's helping kids who have been abused, and they have a Pappy raffle that's coming up, and that's like, and I just helped the Ronald McDonald House. They $100 a piece. They had 1,500 tickets. Went like that. I mean, they made $150,000 off of that. I think while we get so frustrated and angry about this, the one thing that I can say that the Van Winkles have always done and Pappy has always done is it has always raised a lot of money for charities out there. And like, if you are in the mood for spending secondary pricing, I'd recommend like trying to find a charity and, spending that money there, finding an auction that is connected to, because you can always find an auction. You can always find a school. I mean, you can get Pappy. I swear there's more that goes to charities now, directly from retailers than is going into a lot of markets, like say Boise, Idaho. But if you can get it just through charities.
And not all of those are from the retailers. A lot of folks I know have donated Pappy to those things. And so to Blake's earlier point, I think it makes sense for Buffalo Trace, for Sazerac to use the technology that's there. And there's some simple technology and there's some more complicated technology. It'd be really easy to implement, because if I'm buying it at an auction, which I'm not going to do that either, I want to know it's authentic. And the vintage spirit bars want to know it's authentic. And if you're going there and you've got a business dinner and you're going to lay down the money for a Pappy, and I wouldn't do that either, you want to know it's authentic.
I want to make one quick point about, and I want to make sure people understand, I love Sazerac. I love all their products. I love Buffalo Trace. It's just, if you've ever seen the foil of a Pappy, half the time there is wrinkles or crudges, or so their quality control in general, I don't think really cares that much. So I don't see them doing another step to put, they're like, look, this is good bourbon. We know it's good. We're releasing it. But as far as putting trackers and RFIDs and all that kind of crap, they're like, we don't need to, because we don't care about that.
They put the wrong foil on the 15 years. What was that? 3 years ago now that they did that, and just didn't like say, hey, let's rip it off and start again. They just said, send it out. So, I mean, and I look at it from this perspective too, whenever they were releasing these things and came up with the bottle and package design, what was Pappy 15 released? 15 years? No, it would have been call it 20 years ago. And I don't think they ever thought in 1,000 years that they'd need things like, anti-fraud, tampering bottle caps or something, whatever it is. So, it's hard to say that now just because it's so popular. And I know we're all kind of, we're getting the bourbon hipster comments, but I don't think any of us are saying it's not good. It's just like, at this point, is it worth chasing after? And if people are going to chase after it, because obviously it's the most sought after bourbon, you would want them to be assured that it is it is the real deal. I'd hate for a bottle to end up in a charity auction that raises, like Fred said, $100,000, and come back to find out it was an empty, and they've got the bottle from eBay and it was a fake. So I think that's all we're really talking about here. Is Macallan did this a couple years ago where they added bottle caps or something that stopped it. But I don't know. It's a hard problem to solve. And at the end of the day, I think the cost involved, those caps probably cost them 2 cents a piece. So to get something that would stop it it's what I'm assuming a quarter a piece. Well, that's a big deal.
Well, and labor too.
Yeah. Thousands of bottles. So, there's spot to be in.
Yeah. There's another
I don't know I'm not sure that we really have a good handle on how many fakes are really out there and how many fakes are really going through the relatively accessible secondary groups online versus what's happening, person to person, and even in other countries where, you hear about these gigantic schemes going on in places like China where they just basically create a whole product, copy it, and sell it as if, it was the original, and they actually have a massive business behind it, things of that nature. So, how much is actually, going through and getting to people in the United States, and how much is actually going through those online secondary groups? I mean, if that is a big volume and this does cut it back, I got to believe that the liquor store owners, at least, who, maybe have given it to a friend or sold it online before, through a, non-retailer means. Now, if they have to go person to person and everybody that comes in say, "Hi, I have something in the back," that's going to be a much smaller market that's going to be willing to pay those exorbitant prices, so that may, fizzle off the exorbitant prices a little bit to that extent. But I think some good points here too, that, a lot of it is the big company stuff. It's the brand everybody knows. It's the brand everybody wants to be. And we're seeing a lot more brands, do things like host tastings and actually talk about, bourbon and that kind of thing. And so, maybe there's enough market there that it just follows that. And I think somebody made the comment, it's mainstream. And I agree with that. It's just a name that everybody knows. When I'm talking with people who don't know anything about bourbon, they bring up Pappy, kind of like the only one from a name brand they can think of. So that right there is an impressive and massive market share that's going to have some legs on it. That will be curious to see how that unfolds in the next couple of years.
And there's one thing I want to kind of interject before we kind of move on to the next part is dovetailing a little off what Blake said. He had mentioned a $100,000 bottle going to auction. That's an expensive goddamn Pappy right there, buddy. I don't know what kind of bottle you found, but
you know how some of these
a raffle,
like a raffle. If they sell $100 tickets, they sell.
I'm just giving you hell, buddy.
Come on.
Listen, we don't go after. We don't mess with the Cal Ripken. Come on.
But the other thing is there was another comment that came in the chat talking about prices. Like, they've maintained very competitive pricing for a very long time for some of the bourbons that are well known to fetch 5x, 6x its actual market value. Yet they don't do anything about it. They don't change what they're trying to get off of it. So if we expect them to go and try to tackle fraud, maybe we should give them the leeway to say, okay, start adding a little bit more of this into the cost of what it actually is going to take to either build in, whether it's traditional physical manufacturing pieces to it, whether it's a digital footprint and you check it in an online database. I don't know, whatever it is, but all that comes at a cost. And you can't just sit there and say, yeah, this $80 bottle, I should be able to have it and not have it be for $500 and it shouldn't be on the secondary, blah, 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 blah. I think it's just a lot of really far-fetched thinking for a lot of folks to really go into.
I think before we close that, the one other thing about Pappy that it offers that the others don't is just the experience factor at this point. As an example, I brought a 10-year-old Rip to a kid sporting event. I won't get into details, but basically I let two people try it and they were blown away. They were like, I've never had Pappy, and I've never had the 10-year, blah, blah, blah. Like, it offers an experience that I wish other bourbons would move into. I wish Nectars 20 would move into that. Some of the Heaven Hill ultra aged products would move into the mainstream kind of thing.
I would say Nectars is there. I think Nectars is there. So many people watch Billions that if they see that bottle, they want that over Pappy.
Yeah,
it's true.
I don't know.
I wish more would get there, though.
You know what
You got to
Pappy
be
has,
a
though?
little bit more, I think, though.
Pappy has that, honestly, though. People know Pappy, but they also just know the red bag, right? That's literally what, people know Nectars, but Pappy, they just see the red bag and they know what it means, right? That's it. It's so synonymous now with what that bourbon is. And that was probably one of the smartest moves, unbeknown to them doing it, that they could have done. Right?
Well, in college, the red bag meant a little something else.
I think it's like what Jordan said about, you've got Cuban cigars, which everyone knows, and it's just, that's what's lined up with the best bourbon. It's Pappy. It's,
Yeah, there's no shortage of rich people that want nice, fancy things for, that Pappy, a bottle of Pappy's nothing, you know. For
Yeah.
them. I mean, I can't tell you people approach me like, I don't care what it costs, just get it to me. And I'm like, well, I can't even get it. So
I still compare it to wine. I mean, people are paying $10,000 for a bottle of Bordeaux all the time, like it's nothing. And that's for one sitting. At least a bottle of Pappy 23, you know, maybe you're paying $2,000 and it'll last you, you know, years, or at least a lot of people in one fun night. So I still think there's room for it to continue to go up.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, is
Ready to put
bourbon
this
gonna
one to bed?
become like Scotch?
Put it to bed.
Yeah, I mean, bourbon's still
Good
way
night, Pappy.
behind. Way
Sleep
behind
well.
wine, like you said.
Yeah, everybody wants to. Let's talk about some fun stuff. Let's do some reminiscing.
Ooh.
So,
oh boy.
this is let's go to a little segment we'll call "Do We Still Feel the Same?" So, in Bourbon Community Roundtable number 7, one of the questions I posed was, "What bottles would you say are a must for a noob?" So, if you're going to start with 5 bottles, what would be on your list?
Oh man, do we hold on? That was roundtable number 7.
Roundtable number 7.
Are you going to tell us what we
I'm
said?
guessing like 75% of the bottles we said are no longer available.
I have some of the answers to somebody's response to here, but let's kind of go around a little bit, and let's maybe not everybody go, but let's kind of just throw out some bottles today for anybody that's actually getting into this. What are the 5 bottles that you should start out with?
Okay, I'll go
Yeah.
first.
Yep.
Eagle Rare, Buffalo Trace, Heaven Hill 7-year bottled in bond, Elijah Craig small batch, and a Four Roses small batch or single barrel.
Very good. I think it's all good. You know, I think Buffalo Trace is still kind of a hit and miss, especially Eagle Rare. I mean, around here in Kentucky, we can't find Eagle Rare on the shelf. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, and I'll jump in that 7-year isn't everywhere, so we can't get that. I bet you I would have said in 2016, I would have said Elijah Craig 12-year, and I agree with Carrie that the Elijah Craig small batch would be on the list now. I'd put the Four Roses small batch select on it. And then it gets tough after that. I mean, then you get people who want to try something new, and I would definitely recommend a Wilderness Trail for them, particularly the rye. I mean, they can't miss on that. And then I don't know. It gets. I'll do those top 3 and end it there.
Yeah, I think you got to throw in Wild Turkey Rare Breed in there. And I agree on the.
You think Rare Breed for a beginner, or do you think you say like you should
Are
go
we thinking
101?
completely new to bourbon in general? Because if so, you got to go all low proof. So then maybe. Are they still making the 86 proof? I guess they are, right?
Yeah, 101.
I gotta say, like, never underestimate a person's palate. Just because you think they're new doesn't mean they're gonna like that watered down bull mess of Basil Hayden, So a lot. I really.
They're
do
winning our
think-
Basil Hayden sponsorship.
Yeah.
Hey, you can even get it with a 10-year age statement too.
Yeah, well, they called Kenny the Dream Killer. I'm the sponsor killer. So, while Ryan's the people's champion. But I have Rare Breed on my list. I also have, because I think that the journey of being new is tasting batches and releases and kind of seeing how a brand can differ from batch to batch. And I think Barrel Bourbon does a brilliant job of showing you how different bourbon can be. Now, granted, that's because they're getting whiskey from all over the damn place. And then Four Roses single barrel, Elijah Craig, small batch, great, everyday one to get. And then one that I'm surprised that's not on anyone's list is Maker's Mark. I mean, Maker's, for what it is fine.
Yep. Yeah, I'd say Maker's 46. Any of those would be great. As well as I'm a big fan of Michter's Bourbon. It still seems to be a lot of places, either that or throwing like an Old Forester, 1920, 1910, whatever they can find.
So for
I
me,
feel
if
like
you're
it's right up
a
breaking
very
bourbons,
very
Alex.
long beginner list, right? So
So they only have 50 bottles to buy and $2,000 to drop, but they.
But I think the key is variation too, right? It's more so like, if I'm recommending stuff to folks, right? Makers is on my list, right? Get people after wheated bourbon, Wild Turkey 101, bottle of Buffalo Trace, Elijah Craig small batch, right? And then something from Old Forester. And that's whether, you need to pull somebody in with a Woodford, or you just need to pull somebody in with a lower proof Old Forester, just so they get that variation in tasting different distilleries and figuring out where they gravitate to, right? And if we can expand it, it'd probably be like a Four Roses too, just so you can be like, all right, this is a type of mash bill I prefer. And then you start guiding them down that journey. But I think that's the most important thing, right?
Yeah, I agree with you on Old Forester. I didn't even think about that. That's why we have you, Jordan. Like you
anytime.
You steer us the right way.
Old Forester, you right up the rally.
Old Forester 1920
for the ride. That ride's like $20.
Yeah. Yep. Great ride for low cost.
When we're talking about the new person, though, that I do love the 1920. I mean, that's my favorite of the Whiskey Row series. But for a new person, I've given that to some people relatively new, and it punches you in the face. The proof does anyhow.
So that's why you go with 1910. 1910 is the devil.
Or 1897 or 18.
And when you're starting off, you don't like a lot of proof, so you offer maybe an $800 ice cube to water it down a little bit.
You got to have real sponsorship to get that thing done.
But I mean, this is a good thing to see, is that now there's so much more on the market at even a lower price point than we talked about a few years. So I'll kind of give some answers that we had a few years ago here. So Jordan's answers back in the day, which I'm surprised that nobody actually said it, was Old Granddad 114, right? Still available on the shelf, still solid, even for somebody that says they love Basil Hayden. Be like, here you go, try this. Henry McKenna 10, it's dead. So
thanks, Fred.
Thanks, Fred.
Yeah, thanks, Fred.
Eagle Rare, which is already mentioned, of course, is Makers, and then Evan Williams Single Barrel.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I kind of forget about that one, to be honest. When was the last Evan Williams?
You don't see it anymore.
I was cleaning out my basement the other night, and I had a little bottle and had like a little pour of Evan Williams Single Barrel from like '96 or something. I was like, ooh. It was awesome.
So, since we talked about that, though, it keeps going down in age, right? Which is interesting. So not as easily to recommend.
Don't bring up depressing shit, Jordan.
Sorry.
Kenny, do you have mine? Evan Williams Single Barrel, though, if you want to start collecting, I mean, just start buying each year. I mean, like Ryan just said, that 96, that was, I think, that blind tasting we all did. I remember that one was the winner in the blind tasting. And no one guessed that's what it was going to be, if I remember right. But, that's when you start collecting now. You get 1 or 2 bottles from each year. You look back like 30 years from now, and you've got all these vintage bottles. You can taste the difference as it goes. They're really low cost, assuming they're in your area. I mean, I've already bought, based on where my kids' ages are, so far, one has passed the date put in oak. So I bought a few bottles of that, very as close as I could find to his birthday. And I told him, I said that this will be your first bottle of bourbon. We'll have it when you can drink it. And, so then I've just bought those each year, just keep them sealed because I have one open right now. That's enough. And I'm going to look back on it, and that stuff's going to become like the vintage dusty stuff. Maybe, at least 20 or 30 years from now, it's probably going to taste different than what they're putting out at that time. So that's a cool one. You can actually date really easily.
Yep. And then
some other ones, Kenny.
Probably to no surprise, was that Blake and Brian both said you need to have Blantons in that.
Really?
Taters.
My how things can change.
We've grown.
You ruined everything.
But granted,
You.
Bland's is still good bourbon, and at the time it was sitting on shelves and it looked cool. And I don't think either of us would have predicted Blanton's would be what it is today, 4 years later. So I stand by my answers.
Me too. Not backing down.
Blanton's is like the new Pappy that you gotta get a Blanton's. You gotta get in line at 7 a.m. and line up to get Blanton's. And then you try it. This isn't even good.
Like, people just go crazy for Blanton's. I don't.
Yeah. And all the groups are like, it's on the shelves at the distillery today. They say that at 9 a.m. and I guess people are driving special trip. It's like,
I mean, me and Kenny fell prey to it. We were there, and they were like, "We got these little Blanton's bottles," and we're like, "Shit, all right."
Mini Blantons are cool.
We're the worst.
I would buy mini Blantons if I found
they were
some.
The mini ones, the 375s.
Yeah,
we're like,
okay.
Meanwhile, Buffalo Trace was taking a TikTok making fun of y'all buying mini Blanton's bottles.
They were like, "It's got a
Look at these
horse
guys.
thing on it," or something. I don't know.
Kenny, what were my picks?
What'd you say?
What were mine?
Oh, I don't have everybody's. I just had a little bit of note over
So
here.
you had everybody else.
Listen, we've got a lot more fun
Yeah,
stuff to go
that's
through.
cool.
Don't you worry here. I'll feed you, baby bird.
I probably
So-
wasn't on that episode, so I didn't have a list.
All right, so we're going to get into another question here. So back on episode 143, which was Roundtable 19, it was one of the first times we actually talked about shipping, and we all know that shipping has drastically changed over the years, and we got one person here that's actually taken good advantage over it. So it's been awesome to see that business bloom. But one of the things that we also talked on there was really the rise of MGP. And one of the questions I had posed is, are we getting tired of seeing $100 MGP bourbons? And that was when $100 was really like that was the ceiling, and people were getting ready to start going for it. Now we are looking at $100 as kind of being the norm. You know, Ryan and I, we had a conversation, I think it was last week. One of our brokers reached out and said, hey, we've got some 7 to 8 year MGP rye. You want to buy it? It's X amount of dollars a barrel. We did the math. We're like, well, we have to sell it for at least $90 to make it worth our time. And so,
I'll buy it.
And so this was also at the time, you know, we'd look back at episode or Roundtable 19, $50 was kind of pushing it and should have been like really where it was at. And that was the Templeton and that was everybody else at the time. So I guess the question to you all is, are you getting tired of seeing $150 MGPs?
I mean, $150
rye?
MGP or like $400 MGP. Yeah, somebody said smoke wagon. I don't know. I mean,
That's
it is
smoke wagon,
funny how like we went through this thing where nobody knew what MGP was. Then it was kind of like, you know, a little bit it was frowned upon to be MGP. And now, shoot, if you have aged MGP barrels, you're basically sitting on a gold mine. So are we personally tired of it, or do we think the market will continue to be tired of it? I don't think it's going away anytime soon. You know, there's just too much fanfare and hype around it. So
I think
that age statement helps. I mean, there's not how many age stated barrel proof whiskeys out there. So that's like anytime you have that, you're gonna, I mean, you should pay $120, you know, because it's just a rare item these days. And so I'm happy to pay that if it's, you know, barrel proof, got a 8 to 12 year age statement, it's good whiskey, just because it's not very common anymore.
Well, exactly. I think at this point, you know, looking back, we were burned out on MGP. I'd be happy to pay that for a high aged MGP just so I didn't have to buy another bottle of Dickel. Right, to kind of flip the script. There's so much Dickel on the market now because they took over from MGP that now, you know, it's like, all right, MGP, where are you? It's funny how things work out that way in a really
which
short
it is
order.
interesting because I mean I feel like it was around everywhere for a while with all kinds of ages, and then all of a sudden like there's nothing over 10 years from MGP right now. So
there was Friday. All right, Fred, go ahead.
With all that said about MGP, I mean, I think they got a little bit of competition right now. I got a beat on some like Jim Beam, a 15-year-old that's in totes, that's coming back from overseas. There's some, you know, there's endless rumors about Turkey having, you know, mass quantities out in totes. There's Barton's got a ton out there. I know Brown Foreman sold some stuff at wholesale a while back. I mean, there's going to be a lot of source Kentucky straight bourbon coming on the market. And Kenny, Ryan, you two are sourced. You guys are a sourced whiskey company. You're bottlers. I mean, you got MGP, you got Kentucky straight bourbon. Which are you choosing?
Oh, Kentucky straight bourbon every day,
Absolutely. All day.
So
there you go.
Last Friday, I met a friend and we tried one of the old 8-year MGP Smooth Ambler, you know, the original Old Scout.
Oh, those were so good.
There was a flavor, there was a taste that like brings me back to the beginning of bourbon. And when I started getting into bourbon in 2014, 2015, that I haven't had with the newer MGP. And I know we all say, oh, the new stuff's not like the old stuff, but there is definitely something about that old run of MGP, the 8 to 10 year stuff that was just different from the stuff that was today. And I don't know if this, because at that point they realized how popular it was and they started making more. But you try that stuff and you know that there's definitely a difference between the stuff from even 6 years ago to today.
I mean, they were pulling out honey barrels and those things were so good. And I remember, like, you know, when I had the opportunity to do some barrel picks, people were asking me, like, I wanted to do Boone County for a barrel pick because I knew that they had after Smooth Ambler, they had the most coveted batch of barrels from MGP, and we got a couple 12 years that were just amazing. And it's MGP's got great whiskey. I mean, they really do, and they do. I mean, they may be getting sued by their shareholders, but they've got great whiskey.
I think you're right on about that too, Fred. I think there's a lot of variation in their whiskey as well. And I think maybe people have gotten, and by people, I mean, the producers who were sourcing there, just a little overzealous, or just don't, look or think about it as deeply as they did before, when they had more selection, a little more of the power was tilted toward their side. Now it's tilted towards, whoever's selling barrels, barrel brokers and so forth. Where now there's still great barrels there, but there's a ton of variation in it. And I think if you're not careful, you're getting a lot of stuff as a producer that's just so or even not good. And I think we've seen the age come down with a lot of brands, and brands are putting out 2-year, 3-year, which is fine. But I think you've got to hunt harder for those good barrels because of it. And who knows if that'll have a longer term impact on people's perception of MGP.
Yeah, and it's hard to say too, because they kind of have a conflict of interest with having their own brands, and then selling to other companies too. So it's kind of like, all right, you started these two brands, and now I mean, obviously the older stuff sold off, but there is a stark difference between the older MGP, like Carrie said, and the newer stuff. The quality is just not there as we're used to. But I don't know. It's kind of a conflict of interest, I think.
We got an episode coming up. We got an episode coming up about that, Ryan.
I wasn't there either.
You might have been there, but you just weren't paying attention. That's all it goes down to.
I think you were there. Was he not?
Was
there?
I can't remember.
I don't know what episode you're talking about. We got a lot of them in the queue to still go.
Wait, we had the MGP brand manager.
No, he wasn't there. That was me and you, big dog.
Okay,
yeah, that's all right. So let's go ahead and we'll move on to another game called Who Said What. And this is kind of looking back at some quotes from a lot of past BCRs. And I'll say it, and you all guess and try to figure out exactly who said it. All right?
Oh, boy. This is fun. I can't wait.
All right. So the first one here. Didn't somebody predict that OFC charitable bottle was a Trojan horse for them and then to release it later for $2,500? Oh, wait. I think that was me. End quote.
That's a Blake statement right there.
Blake. That seems like a Blake.
It was Blake. That was.
I was going to say, I feel like I did say that because I almost said, "Hold on, I predicted that." And
yes, you did.
Glad I let Kenny finish there, but
yeah, it's totally Blake.
All right, that was an easy one. That was back on episode 143, Roundtable 19. All right, here's this one. I think there's too many people in this bourbon hobby, and they need to get the hell out.
Oh, that's Carrie all day.
Yeah, that's Carrie.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. You guys are good. That was Carrie. That's Bourbon Community Roundtable number 6.
I mean, I still think that way.
Here's the only one who would say.
Nothing's changed.
I don't think anyone else would have said that.
All right. I guess it kind of goes back to what our last subject was here. So bourbon prices are going up, but if you can be an okay bourbon in an okay price range, you will be rewarded.
That's a Brian statement.
That's Brian. That's way too logical.
I'm going with Jordan.
Yeah.
I'm going with Jordan.
That sounds more like Jordan. I don't know that I said
as
that.
well. I think that was you, Jordan.
That was Jordan. That was Jordan.
We're good.
That was Roundtable number 27.
This is easy, dude. Come on, make it harder. Like feed into our personalities.
It just shows how good of internet friends we are. That's all.
That's right.
I didn't know Kerry was like an FBI profiler. I mean, he's like, hold on, what'd they say? Okay, yep, that's definitely this.
Hey, wait. Your next one is curse. Oh, that's Fred.
Wait, didn't everybody listen to all of them over the weekend? Wasn't that the homework?
Oh God, yeah. I can't listen to my own voice.
49 hours.
Vodka sucks. Somebody said. Vodka sucks.
Yeah, that's an easy one. All right. If you had asked me what would have happened in 2018 last year, I would have whiffed hard.
Ooh.
That's pretty
That
vague.
was Eric's one quote.
I think that's Ryan.
Roundtable.
It is Ryan. That is Ryan. That's back on
Is that
27.
Yeah.
Remember Eric's one time on the roundtable, he was in a closet. Like He didn't have anywhere else to go. It's in like a small 4x4 cell.
We
Where are you,
got
man?
it was really me and Nick just running back and forth playing
I was gonna say, and you could see, Nick and Jordan in the background.
All right, this one's kind of topical here. My next Halloween costume, I'm going to be Pappy Van Winkle drinking bourbon all day.
Fred.
Nick.
I'm going Nick.
I'm going Nick.
You guys are right. It is Nick.
Really?
Man, I'm like over on this. But I feel like
Do you remember that, Nick?
I don't remember that.
It was back on Bourbon Community Roundtable number 20. Number 20 there.
I want
All
one
right.
of yours though, Kenny. Like you're gonna throw us under the bus. Give one of yours.
All right, I might throw one in
okay,
there.
everybody gets one. Y'all turn your mics down and mute yourself. I'm tired of hearing. Who said it?
Move your
Nailed
mic
it.
closer. Move it closer.
It's awesome. All right. Something that pisses me off. Stop it with the crotch shot, guys. I don't need to see any crotch shots in
That's
2017. Let it die. Let it die.
Brian.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Brian, for sure.
Say
Remember
that
that
again.
immediately,
He
too.
even knows it. He's like,
What are you
cheers. I
talking
remember that
about?
shit.
Weller Special Reserve or something?
That's pretty good memory. I mean, that was back on Roundtable number 4.
Oh wow.
Wow.
That's how much he hates
Wow.
Wow.
That was early in the
Always hated
crotch shot movement.
Yeah.
No, that was like mid-season.
Well, so that would have been 2016. Yeah, you're right. That's mid-season crotch shot time. But
Yeah.
but people are
I
just
haven't-
perfecting their angles, you know.
I haven't taken a crotch shot in a while. It's time to do one, I think. It's been a while.
The worst part of the crotch shot now is they're no longer on social media. It's your friends fucking sending them to you in a text. And you're like, for God's sake, I don't want to see that.
In what other scenario is it okay just because you have a bottle there for you to see? Yeah.
And I shit you not, I had a friend who took a picture of a bottle on the table while he was naked. And you see the
No.
reflection. Yes, it happened.
That's a special friend.
I had to tell
Yeah,
him.
you might need to change up those friend lists there, Fred.
Yeah, block.
Well, Carrie, it was you. So
Oh
You
boy.
didn't complain at the time.
All right, we got a few more, and then we'll wrap it up here.
This is great how downhill we're going. This is like old school round table. This is good.
Gary's gonna be on the couch really soon. So
I need to
almost
lean
there.
a little bit, and I'm getting ready to give out some
Getting
samples.
close.
The visions of Bourboners dancing in his head.
There it is.
All right, here's one of them. That barrel with an awesome sticker is probably a barrel that somebody else passed on.
Oh, I feel like all of us may have said
I've said
that.
that. I've said that a million times.
That was me. No, I feel like that was me.
I'm thinking Ryan.
But you asked for one for me, so that was actually me.
Yeah, but he heard me say
More
it.
time.
and
I
he
was
said
thinking
it.
through it. I thought they could be you, Kenny.
All right, here's another one. The last greatest rapper was Tupac.
Oh, is that me?
Blake.
Blake for sure.
That's
He
Blake.
loves hip hop.
I don't stand by that statement. I have a few others I'd like to put in my top 5, but
I'm
I'm
pretty
gonna go
sure.
ahead.
I'm pretty sure I said that.
It was Fred.
Oh,
You know, it's
man.
great.
Fred is so hip.
Well, today I was hanging out with Yellow Wolf, so
Yeah, I was pretty jealous of that actually.
he would, dude.
yeah.
He was so cool. He was cool. He was really cool.
All right. One more to kind of close this out. Most people come to our house and we give them really, really rare good stuff. And what does that do? That makes them want the really, really rare good stuff. It's our own damn fault.
Ryan,
I don't know.
I'm gonna say Carrie.
Gary's
I
raising
think
his hand. So.
Gary.
Yeah.
He's raised his hands because that's exactly what it was. Him back on number 5.
Yeah, I remember that. Sorry, friends. I did ruin you.
You're like, here's the best 5 bottles to get. Michter's 20, as a newbie. Michter's 20, Pappy 15.
You're easy.
Dude, Henry McKenna's so good. Fred voted it best freaking bourbon and ruined it for everybody.
But Carrie, I mean, I always see these pictures you're posting. You got your friends over. You got like a really good bottle. It's like drank down to there's a quarter left. I mean, you've posted pictures of stuff before. It's all open. I mean, that's you, man. You're drinking the good stuff, right?
So my thing is always, I don't want my friends drinking all of my best bourbon at my funeral. So that's like always my motto is I don't want to go out with all the good bourbons sitting in the shelves. So drink the good stuff while you can.
Jody's
like
selling that shit the minute you're gone.
I know she is.
That's like my dad. My dad says about his inheritance. If there was anything left, it was a mistake. For me, it's like fair enough.
Well, fellas, that's going to wrap out this 50th recording of the Community Roundtable. For anybody that's sitting here watching it live, stick around. We'll probably sit here and keep talking for a little bit. But I want to say, fellas, thank you so much for coming in. This is a fun episode to kind of look back on 4.5 years with you all. We've done a ton of stuff together. We've all grown a lot. We've grown through this hobby a lot. If I could pull up some old pictures, I think 4 years we've changed. I think there was somebody actually asked a question. I didn't put it in here, but they asked who's going to be the spokesperson for Rogaine at the end of the next roundtable.
So this guy right here, my forehead
right
is gaining.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it moves.
That's why I wear a hat.
Yeah,
I've always had a big forehead, so it's not receding. It's just
It's
we'll
just
throw that out there. Yeah.
But it's been a pleasure, especially like I said, to have everybody on here tonight. This was great to get everybody's input, play a fun game, and really just to kind of look back at this time, because it's special of what this has really become. Not only just for people that have all 250 people that were actually watching live tonight, but just for us personally to actually create these friendships. I think we can probably speak for each other and say it's been very fortunate and very incredible over the years.
Yeah, that's been the best part.
And we'll have an in-person one. We had one at Bourbon and Beyond last year. We'll have it again sometime. And I know we tried to do this in person. It didn't work out, but Kenny, I know how hard you worked to try and make it so. But guys, it's just so great seeing you all. It's always great hanging out. But I do look forward to the moment where we can toast a glass and rag on each other in person.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Yep.
And maybe drink all the bourbon in my house.
Yeah, that's great.
I think we should go to Carrie's. Let's go to Atlanta.
Let's go.
They got good
Come
barbecue
on.
there.
We got Varsity, Magic City. Let's go, man.
I got the Falcons.
That hurt.
Have they won a game yet?
Yeah, we won one.
Cool.
It hurts.
All right, well, let's go ahead and start closing this out. So, Carrie, I'll let you go first.
Go first with what?
Close. You haven't been on. You've been here for a while.
Hey guys, thanks for coming, and it was a great time.
I love it. It's short and sweet. It's the best. All right, Nick Jordan, go for it.
Sure. This is Jordan from Breaking Bourbon. You can find us at Breaking Bourbon on everything, including our website. Really just want to say, though, it's been really something special to grow this over the last 4.5 years. Just the close friendships, and more importantly, doing this roundtable, and really a privilege for all of us to just be able to shoot the shit and talk about bourbon and have all the listeners out there really tune in and interact with us. So cheers to everyone at home listening.
Cheers.
Brian?
All right. Thanks again, guys. I echo that. It's Nick, sorry.
Oh, I cut off Nick.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't even let
Nick.
I'm sorry.
He's going by the order, right? So, no, so
Lawyers, man.
I think Jordan said it. I just echo that same thing. I'm sure everybody echoes that. All the chatter, everybody watching and tuning in. It's just great time. Yeah, if anything, encourage everybody. Holidays are coming up. Get somebody new interested in bourbon. Just one person. Start there. It's a thing that connects people, and it's fantastic. I'm glad to be part of this group, and glad to see everybody and see everybody on, watching and listening today. So thanks, guys.
Now you can go, Brian.
All right, now I can go? Good.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're safe.
I just run with it. But thanks for having me on this. It's been fantastic. Echo both what everybody said already, and it's just been fantastic to do this. I enjoy it. Let's keep on doing it. The quote that I wish you would have called for me, though, Carrie, was, it's probably the only thing I remember saying on this, and it was within the last year. And I told Ryan, as your counsel, I advise you to shut the out. When he was saying something he shouldn't have, but it's all good. It's great. So everybody, thanks for being here. Thanks for enjoying this with us over the last 4.5 years. Find me at bourbonjustice.com and sippingcorn.com.
Right on.
I tend to do that, so thanks for looking out for me, Brian.
Absolutely. I got your back.
Blake.
Yeah, once again, guys, Blake from Bourboner and Sealbox. It is crazy to get reflective and look back at, kind of how far this has become of just this random Twitter group message we had to, 50 episodes later. So thanks again to Kenny, Fred, Ryan, Lauren. I feel like Lauren does not get enough credit on the actual show, but, really making this thing work. So as always, thanks for having me. Great time.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yep. And, Ryan and Fred, I kind of want to lean it on you and let you two kind of close it out with anything you want to kind of add as well.
You can go first, Fred.
I mean, to me, this is the culture of bourbon. This round table is, it's always such a pleasure to be hanging out with my friends and talking about what's going on. And what I love about it is that we talk about things that matter to, bourbon folks, so, and I think that's why, like, anytime you go to Bourbon Pursuit, you find us on Instagram, you listen to us, you can see that the vision and the goal is always to try and keep the conversation moving about bourbon.
Cheers. Absolutely.
Cheers.
Yeah, and I mean, what an incredible journey. I mean, good God, when I always said, Kenny and I sat in my basement and did this, I never thought we would be here, doing 50 episodes of roundtables. I mean, this roundtable epitomizes what bourbon is to me and to everyone. It's hanging out with your close friends, just having a great time, enjoying different drinks, different topics, different comments, just catching up. It's not about the whiskey, it's about the people. And that's what's so special about this hobby, is that it brings you so close to people, and it's just something you can all gather around, no matter what's going on in your life, in the world. It's just something for an hour. We just sit and focus, and it's so refreshing. Whereas all day long, you just get bombarded by junk. And, it's just so refreshing to be able to spend time with people and, that you care about, and that you can just hang out. And I'm just thankful for it all. That's all I can say. So.
Hey, Kenny, I'm going to give
and shout out to Lauren too. That was whoever said that Lauren doesn't get enough credit. She does not. She has to put up with me. She has to put up with Kenny when we do all this stuff. I mean, she picks through this stuff. Our audio quality is better than Joe Rogan's. We're telling her, like, we don't need to be better than Joe Rogan. But it's incredible how much effort and just the work she puts in, and it's I'm so grateful for both the Colemans and everyone here. It's awesome stuff.
You're the people's champ for a reason, bro.
Yeah, that's tough to get to. I needed to collect some thoughts. That's tough to go after, because you are the people's champ. And I think when Kenny and I first maybe and I even floated the idea maybe of this roundtable, I don't know, like 4, 6 or 7 years ago. You guys, what's been cool to me is to see how all of you have flourished in the bourbon hobby. Like, this is your hobby. This is what you do for fun. And it's been cool to see all of you guys flourish, even as I have taken a back seat and retired. And honestly, I enjoy my retirement. You guys are busting your ass every day for the bourbon community. You do it for the love of the hobby. And on behalf of all the people who are not in the bourbon blogging shoes and the level that you guys are, thank you for all the work that you guys do for our community.
Well, cheers. Thank you, everybody. Like I said, this is I don't like getting sentimental on these shows, but it is fun to kind of put it out there so everybody knows that this isn't just a bunch of banter. Like, we really do care for each other. There's a lot of hard work that goes behind it, not just for Bourbon Pursuit, but for everybody that's here. Everybody puts a lot of heart and soul into this hobby, and it's good to see, it all out there for everybody. But let's go ahead and we'll kind of call it for this episode. BCR 50 in the books. We'll go back and we'll look back at what dumb quotes we say when we hit BCR 100. So
it'll be on 51.
Actually, when you stop recording, all the quotes will be
pretty much. Yeah. Cheers, everybody, and we'll see you all next week.
Cheers,
everybody.
And cut. All right.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Cheers, boys.
Hey, I want to say one thing, though, that you didn't cover was the best moment, the most memorable moment of our roundtable career. That's the one thing I was hoping it would come up, because and Fred, you don't need any plug for Bourbon and Beyond, right? Like, when you have that kind of bourbon and concert lineup, Jody and I still talk about the best weekend I think we've ever had together with Bourbon and Beyond 2019. Like that was the greatest. That was so much fun, and like to actually see you guys in person. And you're all so much handsomer than you are on these little squares here. But like, we had so much fun, and that was like when this internet stuff comes to fruition and becomes reality. Like that was probably still, in my opinion, the best experience ever for Roundtable in real life with Bourbon and Beyond 2019. And I hope we can do that again someday.
It was
That's
awesome.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
even 2018 was awesome.
The mud. Well, 2018 was not as
special.
awesome because it rained out, and that really sucked. But
I still had a great time.
I know that was not a fun thing for you, but I think we all had a great time.
We had a great time in the VIP tent while you're shuffling around.
Yeah, but I mean,
but you know what? We're gonna forever remember the mud. And just, I mean, it was
awesome.
nonstop the whole day. I think everyone who was there, like, is committed to the Bourbon and Beyond going forward. Like, everybody left that wanting more. Fred, I mean, everybody was so into it, despite the mud being there. The place was jam packed. Everybody was having a good time. I mean, it's
an unbelievable weekend, and I can't wait to do it again.
I've got something coming up that is definitely not the same. But it's going to be its own little world. I'm building a virtual world for Repeal Day, which you all know I've been communicating with you all a little bit, and most people here still in the chat. It's basically I'm working with a company that does like virtual conferences, and you get your own avatar. We're going to have stages, and there's going to be skyscrapers. You can even get in a boat and go in the ocean. And it's going to be rad.
What am I doing on the ocean?
I mean,
you're taking barrels with you, I think.
Yeah, got it on my jet ski back here.
There's also a broken toilet. So
the Easter egg you got to find.
That'll be fun.
But they don't tell you it's broken until it's too late.
Is that like the fire festival, Fred, on the boat?
Yeah. Well played. Well played.
I miss you guys. I can't wait to see you again in person. Give you a big hug.
Yeah, same here, man. It is. You bring up Bourbon and Beyond, and it's like they just announced. I mean, music festivals. No one really knows. No one really knows what's going to happen, and it's like it's really scary. Like all these musicians, all of these festival promoters, all these venues. I mean, they're scared of shit, of like 2021. No one really knows.
I know what, like some of them, at least from like early plans that some of them got canceled this year, they couldn't get it together, was that if you have a ticket to go to a festival, they're going to start limiting, of course, like they're not going to have the same amount of capacity or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But what they'll do is they'll make you take a COVID test 72 hours before you get there. Then you have to take a COVID test when you get there. Mm. And so that's going to make sure that, you don't do anything. Now, I don't know if that's those particular festivals that make you camp on site and you can't leave, like once you're in sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
make a bubble, Fred.
Well, I mean, that's just it. It's like everything has an expense, right? So like, these guys, they look at it as like, okay, who's going to pay for that? Because the consumer doesn't want to pay for that. It's and then when a musician does do a COVID safe event right now, like they get destroyed on social media. Mm-hmm. By like the people who are like practicing social distance, blah 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 blah. I mean, it's a hard place.
It's tough.
I think people might be willing to pay a little more at this point, though. I think there's a lot of people thirsty for that type of thing.
Just a live experience.
Double the price, I'll go. I don't care.
Yeah,
I do. I think so.
Kenny definitely will for EDM festival.
Don't test me.
It's like I'll sacrifice my other budgets.
Those are cool, man.
Got money, we'll travel.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite EDM?
I'll take Bitcoin.
Who's your favorite all time?
Who's all time?
Avicii.
Yeah.
I mean, Avicii was
Rest in
pretty
peace.
awesome. Yeah, he's awesome. Gone. I'd say my favorite right now is Slander. They're probably my favorite right now.
Nice.
Now it's these things all ebb and flow. You know, you're hot for 2 years and then you're kind of gone. It's kind of hard to.
Did y'all know Brian has a DJ? It's called Libel. He tours with Slander sometimes.
Liable.
Well played.
That was pretty good.
Oh man, I'm glad we're off the air for that one.
Yeah, we're not off the air, but you know, it's
I
okay.
embarrass myself with my own jokes.
Has there been an attorney joke on every single episode? That'd do some more research there, Kenny.
DJ Liable. I love that.
All right, I got to get some samples to give away. Y'all keep talking for a little bit.
it wouldn't be right if that wasn't part of it.
The chat's been waiting for it.
Samples he's not going to send. Did he say he's retired?
I'm hearing olive oil.
Carrie's retired.
Is what I heard.
Well, retired from basically doing anything other than getting free beat tax samples.
Yep.
Oh, gotcha. I thought like he was retired. I was like, damn.
No.
I didn't know. I didn't know whatever computer school person can retire that early. That's awesome.
You worked for 10 years and then you're good.
Yeah.
Done.
All right, he's back. We should probably shut up now.
For life.
He can hear us again.
Yeah, we should probably shut up.
All right, what are you giving away, Carrie?
Hey, these, I don't know if you noticed, but these are my Peloton headphones. So you can actually find me now. I was going to mention you can find me on Peloton nowadays.
I wish you would have done your intro with that. Like,
Your name is Suburbia.
Peloton or
Yeah, Peloton's where you can find me nowadays. That's where everything happens.
So fun.
You totally butchered that intro. You should have made that.
I know. I even freaking wrote a script.
So fun fact though, there's actually both a Breaking Bourbon and a Bourbon Pursuit hashtag on Peloton. Apparently, there
Really?
are like
Nice.
100%. Yeah.
How about the rest of this bottle? Let's give the rest of this bottle away. This is
Oh, you're
Wow.
crazy. Don't do that.
no, I'm not crazy. No,
You're going to miss that.
2016.
You're going to miss
Let's
that
give-
giving away to a bunch of randoms.
They're
So
not randoms. They're my friends.
They're
All
all
my
your-
friends. Okay, I'll give away a 2-ounce sample, and then I'll drink the rest of this Nectars 20 year. And let's see, what should we do to give that away?
Doing trivia?
Yeah, I love the trivia. I love like you guys and your trivia. Let's see. I think we already did what Kenny's favorite drink is, right? Because we did that after Bourbon and Beyond. Because you had like 100 of them at Bourbon and Beyond.
I can remember.
the Kentucky
Yeah.
Crosswalk.
The Kentucky Crosswalk. That's Blake and I's drink.
No, it's one Cecil made with the egg white on it.
I tell you what
the
we're
New
gonna do.
York
Yeah.
Each of you asks some sort of bourbon question. Whoever gets the most right gets the rest of this Nectars 20 year.
We're doing playing Jeopardy here.
Are we talking about it in the chat or right here?
No, you're just gonna say something like some trivia that somebody should know about you. Like Fred, you could say, "What's my most hated liquor?" Like something that would be guessable by people.
Wow,
Okay,
that'd be a tough one.
but who is? But it's for the people in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We all do?
Yeah, I think at least they've got to get 3 right. So I want to start with Ryan, the People's Champ. Give them a question that they should know. If they've followed this show, what would they know about Ryan, the People's Champ?
Don't you dare say where you're from.
Yeah. Good God, I have no idea. I'm
See, that's
sure
the weird thing is that I think most people probably know more about us than we probably even think we know about ourselves.
I'm sure when Brian told me to shut the F up, what did I disclose? They told me to shut the F up.
Brian, throw it out there again.
It was something about a source of a recent Pursuit series.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what that one is, Brian? Or did he actually say it, or was he going down that hole?
Yeah, I don't even remember details.
All right. So I own 4 businesses. Name the other 2. Name 2 of the 4. I don't know.
Well, 2's pretty easy because people that know are right into it.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I know 3. I don't think I know 4.
Actually, don't you do 4?
I didn't know
you do
4 either. I thought 3 as well.
Magic Mike.
Yes, that's been really hurt by COVID, isn't it?
I wore a hat one time, and
Are you into botany?
I think
you
we
like-
got it already, right?
You like the guy from Martian?
nope, that's not me. But I do.
Man.
Yeah, I'm into botany.
You have 4 companies though. That's awesome. OnlyFans.
Well, sort of. This is not going well. I should come up with a better question.
Yeah, that's kind of tough.
Actually, everybody's been getting the
What's
one
the
that
logo on my
one I
hat?
use.
Highlight.
UPS store. That's funny.
Great dance studio.
Actually more
We should-
entertaining than
Okay, are you into landscaping?
These
there,
guys are hilarious on the chat.
Should we give it to?
It's a good question.
I feel like I should give it to Cusick. He got 3 of the 4. So
There you go.
Yeah, Cusick he's always knowing them stuff. All right, I'm gonna give it to Cusick.
Arthur Murray Dance Studio.
yeah, that was pretty good.
Can you give them a question that they would know
And
if
they're-
they followed?
And there's
They follow this
gummies. Yep.
podcast.
There's other things. Yep.
Gummies, really?
No, I consulted for a hemp farm.
It's like send me a PM, man.
Legal weed, but no. The 4th one was mosquito. I wanted a mosquito business. Mosquito 911.
Nice.
Go green for hemp, though. That works, right?
Yep, exactly.
Can you give them a question that they would know if they followed Bourbon Roundtable?
Oh, this is the thing. I don't really know. All I do is ask questions. I never answer.
He's the moderator.
I still think Kenny's favorite drink, though. See if people paid attention to that.
Okay, we all know that Lauren works for the show. Did they meet on the show or before the show?
It's really weird when I hired a consultant. We ended up getting married, right?
Yeah. And the crazy thing was we actually had a kid 3 years before she started working on it.
Maybe where did she work before?
Yeah. Oh, that's a
That's a
that's a
good
good one.
one. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, let's do that. Oh, someone already had it.
Actually, Jay was the first one there.
Oh, Jay had. Oh, you're right.
There we go.
Okay.
That's a good one because everybody kind of knows that one.
I love
You
that.
would have had to
If
be
I-
watching for a little while, though.
So,
Cusick-
Common knowledge.
yeah, Jay, whoever you are, send an email to Carrie. I don't know how you get in touch with Carrie anymore, but that's
Well,
how
we're
you-
we're still counting.
Still tabulating.
So
the
Blake,
funny
I think you
comment
need
was,
to you need to do like an over under. How many kids do I have? And then
over under how many kids.
And by
do
the
I
way, Blake's got an announcement. He's got a new one on the way. I'm just kidding.
have?
Kidding.
no, how about your internet bandwidth? I think if anyone can guess your internet bandwidth,
They automatically.
You know,
No,
that's, Carrie, that's funny because that actually is very similar to the number of kids he has.
My children or the internet bandwidth. So no joke, my brother found out he has 3 kids, found out his wife's pregnant, found out it's twins, and I'm like, nope, I'm out. I am 5 is way too much. 4 is barely manageable, and 4.
I will say that you have an absolutely lovely wife and a lovely family. And
Really do. Yeah.
cheers to you, man. You got a good crew.
64 streaming devices. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Matt. It's everybody wants to watch Disney Plus every night at 9:00. I can't help it.
Oh, has the new Mandalorian dropped yet?
30th,
No.
4 days.
30.
Damn it! I'm so excited to watch that.
I
All
don't
right,
know.
Nick, I think it's your turn, man. Come on, bring us some.
Wait, did Blake actually go? Did he? I think we just
Yeah.
kept talking over him.
Was
Oh,
that
no,
it? It was the kids?
There's 4 kids. Hold on. Let me grab a battery charger before
before he drops down. But see, you're talking about Mandalorian. I'll tell you what, I was really excited for that release last Friday on Amazon Prime with the new Borat. I don't know if anybody watched that one.
Yeah, I didn't watch it all the way.
Amazing.
That was good.
I bought
it
it,
as good
but I
as it
haven't watched it yet.
I laughed so hard in so many scenes. Like my side was hurting the next day.
I'm gonna watch that. Yeah.
But-
You think movies can survive this whole pandemic?
Yeah, because
Because
they're all
movies-
changing
Yeah,
how
stream.
they're released.
Well,
It's like
You know, I
Trolls.
think-
My kids paid $20 for Trolls to stream it, and I was like,
But Tenet, like
the
the
theaters,
that movie's
that-
struggling.
I
Oh,
think
the
you're going to
theater.
see a lot more animation kind of stuff kind of put in the shows, because the people who are creating the worlds, there's no change to them, but getting people physically on sets. And one thing that I think is really going to change is office space. Like I think there's a lot of companies that are going to be like, why are we renting a downtown lot? I already know like 3 Manhattan companies that are just pushing out. So,
and just movie theaters too. Like in the comments, I wonder if they can even survive at this point.
Dead.
Yeah. So this past Saturday, I was a little tipsy and bought both seasons of Chappelle Show on Amazon. I was proud of my purchase.
That's a good purchase, though. That's a good purchase.
Yeah, it was amazing. You forget how many good skits there are that would not be allowed these days.
All right.
Yeah.
Easy though. You punch it in, you're done. You didn't have to give anybody any money. It all happened electronically in the cloud. How hard is that, right?
Oh, it was amazing.
All right, so I got one. So they gave me a chance. So and I can drop some hints if nobody picks up on it. So we talked about Kenny had my quote there from before. So what did I dress up as for Halloween last year?
I remember this, I think.
See if anybody remembers that.
I also got a good one only because I've had to go listen to the past few BCRs.
The chat is hilarious.
We got to guess this year.
Freddie,
a lot of Fred guesses.
I don't know why everybody thinks everybody's going to dress up as Fred. Like, who thought like you should? Fred, you got to trademark that, man. You got to.
You know how often that actually happens. Like there'll be someone tried to get in on Bourbon and Beyond's site, like backstage and stuff, claiming they were me and they were dressed in an ascot and stuff.
Get out of here! Seriously?
Dead serious. I mean, this stuff happens all the time.
They kicked
You
me
just
out.
gotta
I'm
and then like there's been people going to liquor stores demanding like get the bottles of Pappy, and people were like call me up later like, hey man, that's not cool. I was like, dude, I'm like in Florida or something. Like I wouldn't be. I mean, it happens. Someone did it at Garrison Brothers a couple weeks ago. Someone went over there and said they were me. It's fucking weird. I don't get it. All
you gotta do is get those Warby Parker glasses.
People put on that ascot. They feel like it's superpowers.
What's Dwight's line? Identity theft is real.
Yeah.
So Nick, what did you dress up? Was it Pappy?
All right, well, no one guessed it yet. So all right,
Was it Eric?
All right, so yeah, I saw the Eric. I like that from Jay. That's a good guess. So let me drop a hint. So think SNL. Think Tom Hanks.
Family Feud? No, Jeopardy.
You were the Tom Hanks character on Black Jeopardy.
Black Jeopardy.
And if anybody's, we got a guess for Jordan. So now I guess we're one person now, Jordan. There it is. So, all right, we got it there. I don't know which one we count first, right? So we got Steve Wider, Mr. Pumpkins. We got Jordan Vanden Bogart, David Pumpkins. So technically David Pumpkins was the answer. It's actually on our Instagram. You can't tell it's me, but it's what we posted on Halloween, holding the bottle of Pappy. So I think that's, I'm not sure if that's where that quote came up from, but that's the answer right there.
Congratulations, Jordan. You got an empty sample bottle coming your way.
An empty bottle of Nectars.
What was David Pump? How do I not know this one?
From SNL. Going back.
I was like, I'm a big SNL nerd, and I don't know this one.
Tom Hanks. I don't know how many years ago it was, but
I dressed up as Chris Kattan's Mango one year.
Nice.
Awesome. I had a skirt, like gold skirt and everything, and
I could see you as that.
Yeah,
it wasn't even Halloween was the crazy thing.
Yeah, just Tuesday night going out and college, you know.
All right, so
that was date night with Lauren.
This was fun, but I basically just took a bunch of names that I found in chat and I put them into random.org, and I'm just going to randomize them, and whoever's at the top gets the rest of this bottle.
Okay.
So I'm going
to share your screen. You want to share your screen so people can see it?
So are you done with the questioning, Carrie?
Yeah.
All right. Keeping score.
I just want to make sure I got everybody. Let's see. Jordan Vander Sutton, I got him. Ender OSC, I didn't get him. Let me get him in here.
I was about to say, it was a good question. I was going through looking at the old VCRs.
Did you get Matt Cusick?
Got Matt. Yeah, I got Matt. Of course.
You should just say, like, you get a sample. You get a sample. You're all getting samples. Just be that guy.
Oh, Matt knows I'm going to give him something special.
Get the Whoopi meme ready.
Brian Mackey. I don't know if I got Brian Mackey.
I think my favorite comment ever is DJ Libel. I'm getting a T-shirt made.
DJ
Wow, that's so awesome.
Get him in large, tall. I want one.
Bring it in the merch.
Let me get Jason Nutter.
I could totally see like an attorney commercial as DJ Libel, like.
There's a commercial that
personal
plays.
injury lawyers.
Ryan, have you guys seen it or Fred? It's got this. They say their number, and they sing it. It's 502-77-1111, and they got these kids like dancing. Have you guys seen that?
I've seen it. Yep.
That was my buddy that I went to high school with. That's Marty Pohl. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's hilarious, and I can't get the song out of my head.
There's some attorney here as Master P doing his stuff. He's like, Larry Hinshaw, make him say on your case. You're like, what?
Okay, is this everybody that's in here? Let's see. Take a look, see if your name's in here. If not, respond quickly, and I'll put you in.
Oh wow, you straight up are doing that. So for all those people who had the good memories to remember the pumpkin and all that, they're just getting shafted.
Yeah.
Oh, so much Volowski.
I got on the test.
I mean,
everyone's equal.
I just couldn't keep track of that. Richie Holmes.
Just like tossing in names. If anybody hasn't had a chance yet, toss in your name into the chat because odds are you could probably get in at this point.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Jordan, your question there is it's Carrie.
A formula. Oh man, this is killing me. Who's it? Stevie. I got Stevie.
By the way, 877 cash now.
I do wild card, wild card 2. Okay, here we go. Oh, you do it 5 times. 1. Matthew Layton. 2.
What'd you say? There were like 275 people on this now, Kenny?
We're down to about 130.
One more time. Here we go. The next top of this list. Kurt Bolowski.
Oh,
Hey, Kurt Bolowski.
Way to go, Kurt.
Congratulations. You won a big bottle of nothing.
Way to go, Kurt. Kurt, send me a message on Twitter or Instagram.
Peloton.
Make sure you wait by your mailbox.
Gary, so since he's a Peloton star, there's a particular way you can send him Instagram messages.
Do they do DMs on Peloton?
Oh,
you can actually watch. You can live video with someone.
So there was a Peloton instructor who was sending dick pics to his to people in his classes and shit. So it's kind of like that was kind of like a inside.
How'd it turn out for him?
You know what? He got fired, I think. So
that's too bad.
Sounds like it didn't go well, as I would have to believe.
They updated their handbook soon after.
You shouldn't do that, guys. You shouldn't do that.
This seems like something we shouldn't have to explain, but not a good thing to do.
Enough people do it that you got to.
This was one where you didn't have to read between the lines.
I will put it in the chat.
I mean, all these girls, they want some sort of interesting way to be picked up nowadays, and we're running out of options. So,
Lauren, this part of the show.
Oh, apparently there's a whole thread on Reddit about all the Peloton fellas doing that. Good Lord. Of course, that's not as bad as the New Yorker journalist a while back on Zoom.
Ooh, that was.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
how does that even occur to anybody?
Right. Hey, man, everyone has their own turn-ons. Apparently, conference
shit. Jordan, have you been doing this, Jordan?
Put your hands up.
Hand check.
DJ Libel coming in.
It's okay if we have a lawyer on the call, right? I mean,
No remix tonight.
Well, on that note, I think I'm going to call it a night. This has been fun, guys.
Yeah, it was a good time. Thank you, guys.
Hey, all you Kentucky guys, I'm going to be there Wednesday.
We'll see you Friday.
So, be ready for Friday.
You're here from Wednesday until Friday?
Wednesday till Friday. We're going to Bardstown Friday. If you want to jump in, feel free. Fred, come join the party.
Yeah, I think I can make time for you. Come on. Okay. Where are you staying? Are you staying in Louisville?
Hotel Distill.
Kenny's
What's your room number?
Do you have a room yet,
Tell
Blake?
everyone.
Or are you waiting to book it till you get there on Wednesday?
What's your crew doing?
2418 is yeah. No, we'll be downtown. We're doing something at Justin's House of Bourbon Thursday. Which I'm sure anybody could jump in.
Why don't you just go put your whole itinerary here so everybody can just follow you and be like, and just show up where you're at.
Never
Bourboners here.
Yeah, not Thursday. It's gonna be next Thursday. All right, enjoyed it. See y'all.
See you, buddy.
Guys.
Matt.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to
Here's
be in
everybody.
Lexington. I know it's far
Oh
away.
yeah, no, can't make it. See ya.
I was hitting up the other guys. But I'll be in Lexington in December. So you guys want to have a play date?
What send the dates. Send the dates.
It's
let us know what's going on in
there's a
Lexington.
big cross country junior championship in Lexington.
The horse part.
Yeah, the national junior cross country.
It's
So
a big
nice.
deal.
Brian's had this on his calendar for a year now, so he's really looking forward to it.
I'm there.
Are you there? Are you really going to be there?
He's gonna
Oh,
take a
cool.
day
I'll
off
be there.
producing, but he'll be there.
That'll be fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I might go hit Buffalo Trace. And he'll go hit Fred's cigar bar.
Yeah, kiss your brick
Love it.
while you're there.
Mhm.
Dust it off.
See me, right?
They're not.
All right, guys.
New gift
All right,
shop.
guys. I'm out too.
All
See
right.
ya.
guys. See
Thanks,
ya.
guys.
See you guys.
See ya.
Yep.
Thanks, Kenny, for all you do. Thanks, Ryan, for being great and being you. Thanks, Breaking Bourbon. You guys rock. I was thought about this today, Jordan. I actually had an insult prepared for you.
What?
Oh, boy.
Oh, did you?
When I retired and I said, I don't have a whole crew of people working for me, you said, we only have 3. And for so long, I was thinking about the fact that you have 3 working for you. And then I was watching something and they said Apple was actually started by 3 people. And I've just been waiting to say 3 people started Apple for all the shit you gave me about we don't have a ton of people. We only have 3. But Apple was started by 3 people. So there it is.
Next Apple right here.
Just makes you realize that we picked the
Breaking
wrong
Bourbon
fucking
Live.
thing to do.
Feels
Yeah.
good, but also I use you guys every time I'm in a store. So thank you for everything that you do.
Anytime.
we-
We really
we-
need to do it for you at this point, right? It's
Yeah.
like, should we throw them out? No, Carrie needs us. Got to keep
Yeah.
going.
You are for me, and I thank you for everything. You guys rock.
That's the
Appreciate
motivation.
it. Thanks, buddy.
That's true. We actually use Breaking Bourbon quite a lot too, because every time we're getting ready to
We do
record
on a
Whiskey
whiskey
Quickies, we go downstairs. We're like, oh, okay, Breaking's already done a review on this. Let's go ahead and get the details off of here. I have to go find the press release in my email.
I appreciate that too.
Yeah,
They're so much better than the press releases.
Real quickly, so I can say that I reviewed all the Heaven Hill stuff. Parker's Heritage, I agree, is really good this year. It's got a nice finish to it.
Yeah, I like it.
It's really good.
I
The
haven't
Old
tried it
Fitch-
yet.
we haven't tried it yet.
The Old
Guys
Fitch
are like-
14 to me tastes like peanuts. I can't get past the peanut taste to it. I don't know what you guys reviewed that. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is always good. It's just the same. It's always good. And then what else? Is that it? From
I'll
Heaven
tell
Hill?
you what, Carrie, you do a really good job of staying on that sample
I was
train.
gonna say the same thing.
Because I'm reviewing right now. BTAC. I didn't get to see your short, Kenny, but Stag I thought was great this year.
Did you
Yeah.
get BTEC? You did get BTEC, right?
Yeah.
But,
My
but,
review's almost done.
but Blake didn't. Isn't that funny?
Blake
Really?
didn't like Stag.
No, Blake didn't get any samples.
Did he
Oh, wow.
request it though? Because you got to hit it quick. Like you
You
can't.
requested it.
Immediately. You got to be on like the first 2 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah, if you're not in the first 2 minutes, you're done. Stag I thought was really good. Did you guys like Stag?
Yeah, that was my favorite.
That was our
Stag
number
and
one
then
this year.
Saz
That was
18.
Saz 18 is good, but when you compare it to Tanked, you never get that
Not
finish.
even. It's good, and then you have the tank, and you're like, holy shit, that's a
It's
whole.
impossible to. It sucks to compare it to the Tanked because I know
Yeah,
you'll
you
never.
can't compare it to the tank. That's
But
the problem.
I have to though. That's my drink. Tanked Saz 18. If you go back to any BCR,
Yeah, but it doesn't
my
exist.
favorite thing is always
Okay.
Tanked Saz 18. And I'll because it's what I always compare it to. I see the bottle. I know what I tried in Savannah for the first time at that bar there, and I know that like that finish I'll never get on any product again. But the Handy was good too.
I like the Handy a lot this year. I thought last year's had a weird taste to
Last
it.
year's was so weird.
Like medicinal, almost like a cough drop or something, like a Hall's cough drop. This year was fantastic. Maybe the best Handy.
It was really good, which is cool because Stag and Handy have always been the ones that are obtainable. Right.
Yeah,
The weird thing is that I don't know how you all do your reviews, but so when we did ours, like we did it back to back to back, like within 15 minutes we did all 5, right?
Tasting and reviewing. So taste review for the first time.
Fuck yeah. We don't mess around. Like, so that's why like Handy always ended up at the bottom for us, because we're comparing it next to Saz 18 and William Leroy Weller. So we don't, and in my opinion, I think we rated it right where it should have been in regards of the lineup this year. And I don't know if you all got a chance to even try the new Rabbit Hole that got put out. I think the new Rabbit Hole is better than the Handy.
Special high gold one?
No, they're Boxer Grail 6 year.
I would say
they're
2 different whiskeys though. I mean, the Handy's a big, powerful barrel proof whiskey. The Boxer Grail it doesn't have that kind of like robustness to it. But I thought the Boxer Grail was fantastic too.
Yeah.
I mean, really good. Like they're so, and it's one of their 6 years, I think, for that one. So it's one of the older things, if not the oldest thing they've put out so far. But
it is
even their stuff that's younger, like their standard stuff, is actually it's really good. So whatever they're doing, they're finding the right stuff, they're getting the right blend together. I had my brother-in-law try a bunch of different stuff when he was here like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and of everything, the High Gold, which is a bourbon, he was like, man, this is fantastic. So at his house this weekend, he's got a bottle of it. It's like half gone. And so whatever it is, they're definitely doing the right stuff over at Rat.
Everything's their stuff.
Yeah, they're starting to make their stuff.
Getting there.
Like contract distilling, sourcing, whatever they're doing now, which is
So
coming.
they had New Riff making, so probably the 6 year stuff's New Riff made it.
Yeah.
And anything 4 or under is probably their stuff.
Carrie, you want to explain to Chris what the story is behind the tanking, so everybody understands where you're coming from?
1985 or 86, they distilled a giant batch of Saz 18, which actually was Saz 20.5, actually, which ended up at Buffalo Trace. So it was over 18. I want to say it was 20.5 when they finally were like, we have a huge bunch of this. We're going to put it in steel tanks. And for some reason, there's a tremendous gap between the tanked version, which started in, I believe, 2004 and ended in the last batch of 2015. So for 11 years, they were pulling out the exact same distill from a tank, which apparently keeps it from aging any or changing any. But there was so much of it that you have to assume that they purchased a bunch of these barrels and got them in. And if you look at the like, you know, they have the letters that come in, and they used to tell you the age, they used to tell you the barrels amount, etc. Of course, Breaking Bourbon ruined all that, and they don't tell you that stuff anymore.
True statement.
That's a true statement.
They just, for some reason, I think they acquired a bunch of rye that was 20 and a half years old. They threw it in a tank, and every year they just kept bottling it until their own stuff was ready. And I don't think they're ever going to be able to come close. I mean, they come close, but they'll never have the finish of the product they had in that metal tank.
They might. I mean, they'll equal it, but it's just going to be different. It's just 2 different. That's it. They'll come out with an equally good rye. It's just going to be slightly different, right? That tank's going to be magical for ever.
But it's so
probably the
good.
same rye as like those Willet ryes, because there was a ton. Like people would buy by the truck, the tanker truck, and they would fill their own barrels with it. It was like 20-year-old rye whiskey. And yeah, I don't know if it was Old Charter or Ancient Ages had it, but one of those two. And that's what a lot of those old Willet ryes are, and probably the Saz rye, I bet, because there was a ton of it on the market back in the day.
Yeah. I did hear, if you're a fan of Van Winkle rye, I did hear there's a lot of it. There's a lot of Van Winkle rye this year.
Yeah, that was the press release too. They said there was
Yeah,
a lot
but is
more.
that, I mean, that's like Saz. Is that ever going to be like it was from their tank batch?
Ooh, that was
I mean,
good.
honestly, I think of all the whiskeys, I like the most that Van Winkle rye that was tanked and the Saz that was tanked.
Yeah, the Van Winkle rye from like 2013.
Outstanding.
So good.
Outstanding. And
have you had any of the green glass rise, like the medley stuff?
I haven't had those.
Oh man,
Are they real good?
Holy cow!
Kenny probably has a bunch of them sitting around.
I threw 10 of them away because I just taken up space, you know.
After he became CEO of TikTok, he's like, I don't need these.
The kids for Halloween. Here you go.
That's awesome, dude.
You know what's funny today? I got a thing in the mail. It was from Bentley, and I was like, they finally recognized somebody on TikTok. I got my Bentley coming in, but it's just to let me know that they're opening up a branch in Nashville. Thanks, guys. I don't know how they got my information, but whatever.
You got to feel special. Though. You're on the Bentley mailing list. I mean, they got to think something about that, right?
Yeah, I guess so. They think I could afford a ridiculous car. But that's not going to happen either. No way.
A few more viral videos. You never know.
I'll tell you what. I don't think I'm going to hit. I'm not going to hit internet gold like that ever again. That was. But I did, what was it? So I had this account reach out to me, and they've got like 8.3 million followers. And they said, hey, we're actually, hooked in with Dwayne Johnson. If you can do a video with that and Terramana, with The Rock. And they're like, you do a video with that and Terramana, we'll try to see if he can get it to repost it. And if you didn't know, The Rock, he's either number 2 or number 3 of most followers on Instagram.
I think he's 2.
Yeah.
Really? Who's number 1? What's his name there?
Cristiano Ronaldo is number 1.
Oh,
really? I figured
I actually got to go look for this stuff. So, but yeah, he's got like 240 million followers or something like that. So
that's insane.
Ryan's got to be right. I mean, you got to be pretty close there, Ryan, to 240 million. You got to be at least top 8, right?
Yeah.
I think I have like 240 people following me.
You'll get
hey,
there.
fellas, I enjoyed it. Thank you guys for everything you do. I'm going to go find some food and call it a night.
Good to talk to you, Gary.
I got to go to bed.
Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and call this. So, cheers, everybody. And thank you for the 111 people still watching at this point. So,
wow. Thanks, guys.
I know.
Thanks,
crazy.
Yeah, thanks, Kenny and Ryan. I mean, you guys, this is awesome.
It's always a highlight.
Yeah, you guys are
thanks to you
to
all.
do this, and you guys run it and everything. It's always fun.
Yeah. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
See you in 4 weeks.
Cheers, guys.
See you in 400. Bye.